here's a second example for the 2D drawing. Again, the requirement is a character and a object, and in this case, or my perimeter, is a transportation of some sort. So the second example I've got here is a steam train. Well, let's start with train and then went to steam train. I found these very good examples of putting together steam trains with very basic shapes, which was great. So they're very 2D. And again, they had some very interesting ones here, starting with blocks and triangles and various shapes, and bring them together to create a steam train. So I wanted to share these because here was a good already established 2D ideas here. But looking at these, I found that they're very graphic and just representational. They're really not very functional, and they're not overly creative. So I wanted to do more research. So I was doing research of real trains. So I was taking a look at photos and illustrations and things of all kinds of steam trains through the ages, from the very beginning to up until they were phased out. So from that, I started doing some sketches. And here was kind of a quick sketch, again in blue, as I was just trying to work things out and trying to work who the character was. So I thought it'd be the conductor or the engineer, actually, they're called in the train, and him ringing the bell here and working out the mechanics. What was missing in those other drawings was, how a steam train works. And in some of the videos and such I looked at, it talks about, the steam builds up and it drives these pistons which come out and drive on the wheels. And that's hooked up to a second wheel. So these two big wheels drive the train, and the rest keep it on the tracks and in the right direction. So that was fine. Tried another one here in pencil, still very, very loose, and trying to work up that idea. But what I found was I was just, doing a slight variation of what's already out there. And what I really wanted to get across in this example was thinking outside of the box and being really creative with whatever direction you go in. So again, last time I did a tugboat, and I did a relatively regular, tried and true tugboat design. Just tried to clean it up and work in a 2D environment for our drawing. So while doing this example, I kind of thought, okay, it's getting, really it's kind of boring and not very unique to any other drawing or design of a steam engine. So I wanted to think of something more creative, and that's really what we're all about here. We want to be creative, and if this is a piece that would be in my portfolio, I'd want it to really stand out. And if I had a regular steam engine, I don't think it would stand out too well. And I don't think it'd be as interesting. It doesn't even interest me, and I'm drawing it, so I wanted something interesting. So what I found was, when I was looking at a video and it was describing the mechanics of how a steam train works, one of the descriptions was that when the water boils, again, you have coal, you're putting it in a fire, and what you're doing is you're getting the water in the engine here to boil and creating steam. And they said it's not unlike a tea kettle. And it was that word that sparked something interesting. I thought, a tea kettle, okay. So maybe now, since we're talking animation and thinking cartoon, maybe a tea kettle is going to be an interesting jump-off point for an interesting design for a train. So I scrapped all of my other drawing and ideas and started to put together a train based on a tea kettle. So I actually took the idea of a round tea kettle with a top and worked on this half moon or half circle shape to be the basis of my train, putting a triangle on the end to be where the chimney or the steam would come out, and then the handle of the teacup would be where the engineer is driving the train. And then have the tried and true mechanisms, the wheels and the drive shafts and everything all working. And then I thought I'd play on that a bit. So here I thought it makes sense that, now this top could open up in this position. and you can have a water tower filling the teapot with water so it would boil. And in some teapots, did some research on teapots, was that it has like a little water level indicator on the side, so you can see, that they put enough water for the train to get to the next station. So starting to play with that, I really started to refine some design of character. I thought, well, I got to get the coal shoveler here with his shovel. But then I thought, if I stick with the tea kettle theme, maybe you'd have a spoon. And also, I'd have another character here carrying a big tea bag. And that maybe, instead of a coal car, I would have a trailer car here carrying cream and sugar. So getting the whole tea theme going. So I wanted to develop that idea, because now I got excited and now I got interested in that this could be a direction I'd really want to go in. Then I wanted to kind of work on the environment a bit. So here I am trying to refine it a bit. Same basic design of everything, kind of refining my character with the tea bag, keeping them either very side view or straight front view. But then I had more of an industrial background with a factory and a silo and whatever. And I thought, well, it's not really fitting in with the creative aspect of a tea kettle train. So I reworked again. And this time I thought, okay, I'm going to have it in a kitchen sort of city theme. So I've got an old retro fridge and a cabinet of dishes and teacups and this sort of thing. I have my engineer character in here. Brought my two characters more in the foreground, closer to the viewer. So I've got the character Big carrying the tea bag, and now I've got this one kind of worked out with the teaspoon. And, maybe he's shoveling sugar cubes to keep the fire burning and the engine running. And thought maybe little creamers or little milk containers here for, how it would work. And then working out some smoke and such. And then coming down and refining that and doing a cleanup. And just really nailing everything down. So trying to keep it as two-dimensional as I can. A little bit of 3D on the character, and even, that's pretty side view. That's pretty flat and using our 2D shapes. So, that's part of the trick. And where I kind of lost it was in my sugar cubes. For them to really look like that, I've given them dimension. And the same with my little milk containers or creamers here. Other than that, I've kept everything extremely flat. But the main objective and why I'm showing this sample is that thinking outside of the box, being creative, finding something to spark and give you a direction. Even though I started with steam engine and an engineer, a conductor, or whoever to be the character along with this, I wanted to find something fun and something that I haven't seen before. So just after all that research, it just took one little line in a video describing how steam trains work and talking about it boils like a tea kettle, and that set off the thought process of going, okay, now I'm interested. Now this could be fun. All right, so hopefully that gives you some food for thought and to think creatively when you come up with whatever vehicle you want to go with. Don't do it steam tea kettle steam train. I've done that. And the tugboat. Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of room for improvement and being more creative with that. But try and be as original as possible. So find inspiration and come out with as original and something that you'd be happy to put in a portfolio to show your skills and your creativity and your originality.